Hi, 7th graders. We are on lesson 3-6, which begins on page 167 in your textbook. We are still using the Pythagorean theorem, this time to solve real world and word problems. So, we have a few problems that we are going to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve. So, as we are reading our word problems and using our illustrations to solve it, one thing to always remember is we need to look for the right triangle, because remember, the Pythagorean theorem only works on right triangles, okay? And also, hopefully you're like thinking of this in your sleep, because we've said it so many times, that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A and B are what part of the triangle? The legs. And C is what part of the triangle? The hypotenuse, which I'm just going to label like that. All right, so here we go. What is the height of the tent? So height is this right here. Okay, as we can see, we have a triangle here, but this, we need to find the height, and we need to use this right triangle, and we can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve. Okay, so 3 and h are our legs of the triangle. So 3 squared plus h squared equals 5 squared. Remember, the legs are 3 and h because they're adjacent to our right angle. Okay, here's our right angle. 5 is our hypotenuse because it is across from the right angle. So then we have 3 squared is 9 plus h squared equals 25. Remember, we need to subtract 9 from both sides. So then we have h squared equals 16. And then we take the square root of both sides, because the square root cancels out our square, so we're left with h equals 4 feet. Okay? These next ones, I will set up the equation, or this one for number 2, I will set up the equation, and then I want you to pause and solve it yourself. So we have h is our leg, 9.5 is our leg. I can figure that out because they're both adjacent to our right angle. So the first thing that I want to do when I'm looking at a problem or I'm looking at a picture is I figure out which are my legs and which are my hypotenuse and set up my equation correctly. So I have h squared plus 9.5 squared equals 10 squared. Okay, this is a plus. Okay, if you have h squared plus 10 squared equals 9.5 squared, you are not going to get the correct answer. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what the height is. Already in my head, I'm thinking, well, compared to these two lengths, it's going to be quite a bit smaller. So I have to make sure my h is going to be quite a bit smaller when I figure it out. So go ahead and solve for h. I have h squared plus 9.5 squared equals 90.25 equals 100. H squared equals, because this time I'm going to subtract 90.25 from both sides, so 100 minus 90.25 equals 9.75. and then I take the square root, and it is a good habit for you to get into to just keep following all the steps so you don't accidentally forget, or you don't just go, oh, h is 9.75. Nope, you have to remember to go all the way down until you have h alone. So then we take the square root of 9.75, and we get approximately 3.12 feet, which makes sense because remember I said it's going to be quite a bit smaller. So then we go back up and label it on our square. So if you didn't draw the square, that's fine, but I do want to make sure that you're doing all of this work with me. Okay, number 3. An isosceles right triangle is a right triangle in which both legs are equal in length. If one leg of an isosceles is 4 inches, what is the length of the hypotenuse? Well, we know that these are exactly the same, so we're going to label this right away as 4 inches. Okay, so am I given both of my legs? Am I given a leg and a hypotenuse? What am I given? I'm given both of my legs, so I have 4 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared, because c is our hypotenuse and we are not given we're not told what c is. Okay, so we have 16 plus 16 equals 32. 32 equals c squared. C is approximately, because we take the square root of both sides, so square root of 32 is approximately 5.66 inches. So over here then I will try to kind of neatly, 5.66 inches. Okay, last one for the night. This is kind of a multi-step problem. Abigail designed a stained glass window in the shape of a kite. What is the perimeter of the window? All right, well, we are given, so the perimeter of the window. So in the end, we need to know all of the lengths of all of the sides around the outside of the kite-shaped window. Okay, so I can look and I can see, well, this is the only triangle right here, this one right here, that I'm given 2 of the sides, because this 27 goes with this length right here. Okay, so first we need to figure out what this length is right here, because then I'm able to use this and this to figure out this length. And then we know that it's the same over here and over here. So actually I can fill this in right here because I know that that side is going to be 45 inches. So first we're going to do this triangle, okay? And I want you to set up the equation and solve for this side right here. Okay, so do that, or pause me, do it, and then go back and watch me solve for this triangle. And then we'll go ahead and do the next triangle. So you should have set it up as a squared plus 27 squared equals 45 squared. Okay, because you're given one of your legs and not your other leg and the hypotenuse. Okay, so we have a squared plus 27 squared equals 729. 45 squared is 2,000 25. A squared then equals 2,025 minus 729, and we get 1,296. Take the square root. So the square root of 1296 equals a very nice clean number, 36 inches. Okay, so let's label this right here. So this is 36, and then we know that this is also 36 inches. Okay, so now we need to know the sides of this, or the length of this side right here. So we're given 15 and 36, so pause me again and solve for this side right here. So you should have done 36 squared plus 15 squared equals c squared. So we have 36 squared equals 1,296, which I could have just looked back and I know, well, the square root of 1,296 is 36. So 36 squared has got to be 1,296. And then 15 squared is 225 equals c squared. 1,296 plus 225 equals 1,521. Then we take the square root of both, and we get c equals 39. So this is 39, this is 39. Then I go back and I think, and I reread the question and ask if I'm done. What is the perimeter of the window? Oh yeah, I have one more step. Now I need to add up all of my sides because remember the perimeter is the length all around an object. So 45 plus 45 is 90. 39 plus 39, I know that 40 plus 40 is 80, minus 1 and minus 1, so 78. 90 plus 78, we have 0 plus 8, 9 plus 7 is 16, 168 inches, and I see that my answer then will be D. Oofta, that's a lot of work. I love the problems that there's tons of work like that and then you end up with your answer. So remember, you can go back and look at lesson 3.6 if you have any other questions, and then make sure you sign on to NICU and do the lesson 3.6 quiz, and look over your vocabulary sheet and make sure that you've filled in any new vocabulary words.